Hello everybody, my name's TankRunner, and welcome to another episode of Drawing Roulettes and World Building. Today, we're going to continue working on our project to create a new Pokemon region. Last episode, we worked on the Pokemon you can catch on our first route, Piper, the Magpie Pokemon, who evolves into Shrilark, and then Shredshrike, Pinley, the Echidna Pokemon, who evolves into Quilliquake, and Kokos, the Sugar Glider Pokemon, who evolves into Chocoloft. In this video, I'll be covering the first gym of our region and the Pokemon that make up the leader's team. But I want to kick us off with a few updates and some world building, so if you're not interested in that, just want to skip to the part where you get to see all the adorable monsters, here's a time code for that. Everyone else ready? Alright, time to sit down and have a 1 on 456 conversation with the Tonks? There, I said it. I called you the Tonks. I know a lot of you have been waiting for that. Are you happy now? Have I appeased you? I'm not sold on calling you guys Tonks yet, just taking it for a test drive. Honorable mention to runners, soldiers, and tankers, which were also submitted and rallied a decent chunk of support so far. Keep your ideas coming. Okay, 2 really quick updates and then we'll jump into the world building. First off, back when I made the first video of this series, I told you guys that I wasn't sure about the water starter line. I wanted to try something new with the rock, paper, scissors formula, which led me to making Puddlespur and Barnami water poison type. After hearing from you guys and reading through your ideas, I've decided to switch their typing to water fighting. This will work better than the previous typing, and we can still show their poisonous nature through an ability like Poison Touch, and a decent selection of poison-type moves. Thanks to Dante and Retro for the help. Second, on a past episode of this series, a comment thread got a little aggressive, which is fine, but one person, let's just call him Jeff Goldblum, made it pretty clear that he only came here looking for something to get upset about and started slinging insults at people for no reason. I ended up deleting the thread because that's not really the kind of community I want to build here. I bring it up not just for the sake of transparency, but because I want to make one thing clear. I can't believe I have to say this, but the region we're making here is a fictional place. Sure, it's inspired by Australia and the surrounding area, but in no way was this ever intended to be an exact replica. Most of the similarities are going to be in the environments and the wildlife, and no one should think that anything I say about my region, I am also saying about Australia. To summarize, if you're going to scream at people on the internet, maybe Google the thing you want to scream about first. And don't be a f***ing Jeff Goldblum. Is this really what you want to be? Should have, picked a different picture. Cool, great, fantastic. One super awkward transition later, let's skip to the fun bit. You have decided to start down the difficult path of becoming a Pokemon trainer. Maybe you've recently reached the age to start such a career. Maybe this is a new passion that you found late in life. Or maybe this is just a stepping stone to what you truly want to do. You head down to the training center where you meet our region's professor, who I've been calling Jack as a placeholder. Jack has a bit more of a hands-on approach. I want him to have a roughness to him, like he was a force to be reckoned with back in the day. And now he uses his time to prepare new trainers for the harsh world that made him who he is. He's a weathered man, not the standard scientist type like the professors of the past. Think more of a retired Pokemon ranger than anything else. Jack will be the one leading your survival classes and the person who will present you with 3 Pokemon to pick from for your starter. In our last episode, we talked about how trainers have to take these classes to gain the documents needed to enter the wild and start their adventure. We bounced around the idea of different tasks and challenges you have to complete, proving you have a passable understanding of basic Pokemon systems and are capable of defending yourself outside the city walls. This will allow for a tutorial without forcing experienced players to click through what can feel like hours of dialogue before getting to actually play the game. At this point, you've caught a few Pokemon, completed your tasks, and battled other trainers trying to pass the same exams as you. With Jack's help, you're not worried about leaving the walls. In fact, you're ready to face whatever the world has to throw at you. But there's one last test these classes have saved for the end. A battle against the region's first gym leader. You select your team, enter the arena, and are caught off guard by your first real challenger, your new mentor, Jack. This fight will demand everything that you've learned.
You aren't worth the time of my real team just yet, but this should do. I'll show you the dangers of leaving civilization unprepared. If you can't figure out a way to surpass these monsters here, then you sure as hell can't surpass them out there.
Jack's team will test trainers in their ability to deal with status effects and Pokemon who have a short list of weaknesses. Jack's first Pokemon is by no means strong. In fact, if it's not used properly, it's pretty much worthless. It lacks the stats to be a physical threat, but it more than makes up for that by being extremely resilient and having a large selection of powerful status condition moves available to it at a relatively low level. Luskin, the cone snail Pokemon. Luskin have a squid-like movement in the water, but on land, it is the slowest identified Pokemon to date. They remain stationary, waiting for prey and predators alike to approach them first. Once in range, Luskin will fire their harpoon, injecting the target with any myriad of ailments. Some of their poisons are powerful enough to take down predators far larger than them. I recently had to purchase a new computer, which will help a lot when it comes to making these videos, but with this being the first one I've made on the new rig, there's gonna be a few hiccups. You may notice a slight drop in quality when it comes to the shadows and highlights of today's designs. That's because during the transfer, I lost the brush settings I made for shading, and figuring all that out again is gonna take some time. So apologies for that. Everything should be back to normal by next episode. Shellisk, the evolved form of Luskin. Wild Shellisk should never be handled by humans. They may be slow, but the sting of their harpoon happens in the blink of an eye and can be fatal due to their venom containing many highly potent toxins. Despite this, many Pokemon Rangers are tasked with the collection of Shellisk venom, not only for the use in making dozens of different antidotes, but there have also been recent breakthroughs in using it for many other medical purposes as well. I want the region to be an open world, like actually open world. Face the gyms in whatever order you want after the first, go pretty much anywhere you want, whenever you want, with very few limitations. But the big issue is that we don't want players to be able to catch really high-level Pokemon early in the game. And I find it weird to have wild Pokemon scale to your level, so what ideas can you guys come up with? Something that makes our region feel like a real place that you want to get lost in. Let me know in the comments below. Sluggernaut, the evolved form of Shellisk. The size of the territory defended by every Sluggernaut is determined by the size of the Pokemon itself. A larger body suggests that they would be stronger in combat, and therefore worthy of more land. Those with their own territory will travel the outskirts of the land, secreting a scent from their skin as a warning. Sluggernaut will battle each other over these borders in an attempt to expand their own land. And younger males will sometimes challenge an elder to take over as alpha in their local area. Witnessing one of these brawls is rare, but the results of them can be seen in deep scarring on a Sluggernaut's metallic shell. Jack's second Pokemon will continue to build pressure on the trainer by stacking status effects and causing burn to targets that are not yet afflicted by Luskin's poison. He may also switch to it early if Luskin has done its job and he wants to end a fight quickly. Varlata, the Goanitor Pokemon. Varlata have a reputation for being dangerous and ill-tempered. When upset, steam will erupt from their nose, hot enough to cause severe burns, and if angered, they have the ability to release short bouts of fire from their mouth. Despite this, they are naturally loving creatures, only increasing their internal temperature when they believe they are being treated poorly or unfairly. I've been trying to come up with a name for our region, so if you have any ideas, let me know. I've been leaning towards something similar to Uluru or Huru. Uluru being one of Australia's most famous landmarks, and Huru basically being slang for goodbye.
Alright, Huru.
Hurrah!
Bye-bye.
Hurrah to you!
I know those two things have nothing to do with each other, but the reason I bring them up is because they have a very specific sound to them that just sort of rolls off the tongue. Also, they're kind of just fun to say. Goanitor, the evolved form of Varlata. Goanitor have two separate valves in their throat, allowing them to breathe fire or spray boiling water at high pressures, depending on the situation. Goanitor are known to release excess heat by spewing a stream of fire directly into the air for an extended period of time. They do this regularly, but seem to possess enough intelligence to do this in locations secluded enough to not cause unwanted harm. 21 down, 130 to go. How do you guys feel about the first gym leader and how he's incorporated into the region so far? I plan on him being relevant in the plot and giving trainers something new. Not really a rival, but something to strive for. Giving Jack the chance to show them how strong he really is and how far apart they really are from each other. Giving their inevitable battle farther into the game some more weight. Think Final Fantasy VII, how they use small moments throughout the whole game to make Sephiroth feel like he's a god in comparison to you, just for them to then tell you that this all ends with you fighting him alone. I know this episode didn't have as many new Pokemon designs in it as there usually are, so I've decided to have my next upload be another installment of the Pokemon series to make up for it. I'm pretty excited for this one because it's going to cover the first of many wild areas in our region. I'll explain more then. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps me out. If you want to take a crack at drawing any of the prompts I've done, or want to send me some artwork to help flesh out some of my worlds, please send them to me over on my Twitter. I'd love to see what you guys make. But until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.